Hey everybody, this is Jen. Welcome to my channel. Do you ever get sore? Do your muscles ever hurt? Do you ever injure those muscles? Well, if so, this is the video for you, because today we are making a salve that is to help those sore, tired, achy muscles feel better and heal faster. That's right here on Garden Jen's Journey. All right, so today we are making our sore muscle salve that is good for relieving sore, achy, tired muscles, getting those tight muscles to relax, and it actually helps promote healing. Now, I have to say that I am not a licensed medical professional, and you are not to use this information that I'm sharing with you to negate seeking proper medical advice, and use the advice I give you at your own risk. But I am going to show you how most homesteaders use natural remedies to help those sore, tired, achy muscles, and specifically the recipe that I have found that helps me get back on my feet. So I'm going to take you inside in just a few minutes and show you how I do that. Right now I'm out in the garden and I'm working and I'm collecting seed pods, seed bags, and all sorts of things. So I'm going to get that done and then we're going to head inside. All right, everybody, so I am making my herbal infusion, and I don't know why, but my video was not going when I put it all together. So I'm just going to give you a brief rundown of what I put in it. We have comfrey, rosemary, lavender, arnica flowers, common thyme, and cayenne pepper. And then I put it all in here. I have the arnica, and then I have lavender and rosemary and thyme and comfrey all up here. I kind of do it by eye, because I kind of have a ratio that I'm going for that works for me. Then I have about 5 or 6 whole cayenne peppers that I put in here. This is a 2-quart container. And then I fill it with olive oil, and that's where we are now. We're filling it with oil. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to put a top on this. Like so. Now we're going to set this in my pot of hot water on the stove. I'm going to add a little bit more water to this, but basically we're doing a double boiler method of heating the oil. And we're going to let this steep in here for about 3 to 4 hours. And then we're going to strain it, and I'll show you that when we get to that point. So we've had our oil sitting here covered all night. So it's been nice and warm and steeping. And now it is time to get it strained and get it prepared for our salve. All right, so I have all my stuff here together to get this salve going. So we have the oil that I've again left in hot water overnight on top of my wood stove in my double boiler method. Now we're going to strain this. And it really, really smells so good. All right. Going to have to get a tool to help me get some of that out. All right. There we go. Of our plant materials up on top here. We got most of it strained, but we're going to take this, set it in our other bowl, because this does get really full really quickly. Take you in here and show you what the color looks like. That deep dark color is wonderful. Okay. All right. Now, one of the things we have to do with this is we're going to have to get it up to a higher temperature so we can mix it with the beeswax. I have my beeswax going in a pot right here. It's ready to go. But beeswax sits at quite a high temperature in order to stay melted. It's at least 140 to 150 at least. And our oil is nowhere near that. So if we try to mix the two together, the wax is going to just make a solid wax and you won't get a salve. So I'm gonna pop this in here. See if I can do it without spilling it, because this does not have a spout on it. There we go. Alright. Now I'm gonna go pop this in the microwave for about a minute and I'll get this nice and hot. And then we'll move on to the next step of the salve. But I'm going to pour the rest into my jar. I'm guessing about how much space I need here. So we'll use this jar. All right. You see that the 2-quart jar makes probably, all in all, because this is half a quart, makes almost 1.5 quarts of oil when it's done, because there's a lot of plant material in there, so that takes up a lot of volume. But this I can set aside for use for later. And again, once this is fully drained, we will add that to this. But for now, let's get the other warmed up and get on with making our salve. All right, so we have our oil heated up, and I'm going to go ahead and pour it into my mixing bowl here. And this bowl I have specifically set aside for making salves. I do not use it to make food or anything. So I generally keep it in a Ziploc bag between uses, because when you have salves and stuff, it's very sticky and very hard to get 100% clean anyway. So if you keep it in a Ziploc bag, it stays clean. Alright, so we got most of that oil out of there. Now, a basic salve recipe uses basically 2 tablespoons of melted beeswax for every half a cup of oil. So again, that's 2 tablespoons of beeswax per 1/2 cup of oil. I have 2 cups of oil in here, and so I need basically 8 tablespoons for the ratio. What I use is a gravy ladle. I use this, again, this is what I specifically use for my wax, and I keep it wrapped up. But this is a gravy ladle. I think this one is I think this one's a 2-ounce gravy ladle. But I have found with my business and how many times I make salves and lip balms and stuff, that for every cup of oil that I use 1 of these scoops. So I'm going to need 2 scoops of this in this oil mixture. So there's 1. And 2. And just to be on the safe side, I'm going to add just a touch more. Maybe half a ladle, just to make sure it stays a nice solid and doesn't get all oily. You don't want an oily salve, because then it's just going to absorb onto your clothes and stuff and not stay in your skin. The beeswax not only makes this thick, but it helps trap that oil and all this medicinal stuff that's in it against your skin. So now that's nice and mixed, and we're just going to start stirring. And what this does is, as the mixture cools, you'll notice there's this form around the bowl because that's cooler, and so it gets that beeswax to start cooling down and forming that skin. You keep mixing that in, and that incorporates it all together and slowly cools the mixture down and makes it homogeneous, and eventually you will get a nice salve. And it takes a little patience. This is not something you walk away from, because it could cool down, and then when you go to mix it, it's just chunks, and then you'll have to start all over again, pop it back in the microwave to reheat it, and then do this all over again. So this is the most time-consuming part, hands-on wise, but this is, other than that, this is very easy to make. So I will bring you back here when this has cooled down completely into a nice homogenized salve, and I'll show you what we do next. Alright, so we're almost there. And one question I want to address before it gets people might wonder is, why not do this over an ice water bath or cool water to get this to go down faster? You could do that, but I highly do not recommend it, because you want this to cool at a slow pace. If you try to get it to cool too fast, then you have a very high chance that the wax is going to solidify by itself, and the oil will be left as oil. So in order to get these two to stay happily married, you have to go low and slow and just take your time and try not to rush the process. If this is not something that floats your boat as far as standing here for 5 minutes stirring the pot, put on some good music or something like that, and or an audio book or something, and just enjoy this moment that you can just stand here and not really do anything else but stir the pot, so to speak. And for me, this is really relaxing, even when I splash and make a mess. But yeah, we're almost there. You can see that the consistency is almost like gravy right now. So I got a little bit longer to go here, and then we're going to scoop into our containers. So I have our containers out and ready to fill. And we're going to start doing that before this gets too thick, and then it's harder to get to go in those containers nicely. So I'm going to take our ladle, and I covered it back up so it stays clean. We're just going to put in our containers here. These are 4-ounce containers I get from Wholesale Supplies Plus. I use these because I sell this. So these are very nice containers to sell, or if you want to give away to friends, you want something a little fancier, these work wonderful. You can use small jelly jars if you want, the shorter wide ones. I've used those if that's what you have on hand. I have a little bit more here. We're gonna have to do this old-fashioned. can see how nice and thick this is. And it'll get a little bit harder as it continues to cool down. There you go. Alright. Alright, so that's all there is to it, and just to make sure that there's no lumpy lumps or anything like that, I just give it a nice little stir. And then I'll clean up the edges and put the tops on it. And these will be good to go. Alright, so I hope that you enjoyed watching this video on how to make your own sore muscle salve. It really is easy to do. It's just time consuming. And you have to have the right herbs available to do it. But if you're interested, you can make these yourself. I do, again, sell these on my Etsy shop, and I do have a link below where you can get these. And again, I just thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And as always, I hope that wherever you are wonderfully blessed. Take care. Bye-bye.